to this episode of Reality Renewed. Today we have Jen LeBaron. Is that?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
You
I
got
never
it.
call you by your last name. We're
No.
so professional today.
Yes.
We have heard Jen LeBaron on today, and I'm reading this because she's really a jack of all trades, and I want to make sure I get all of this correct. She's a fitness and wellness instructor guiding others through HIIT, barre, yoga, Pilates, and breath work to build strength from the inside out. I love it. And you have breathwork sessions, which I've been a part of, that moves bodies and shifts energy, which I can
Exactly.
totally attest to. And my personal connection to Jen is Jen, I've known you now for probably 3 years?
Oh my
Maybe more?
gosh.
Maybe more?
I feel like COVID.
Oh my gosh, maybe that long. How long have you been? How long have you been instructing at ICC for?
Yeah, I've been there since 2019.
Oh my gosh. Okay, time
Yeah.
flies. I think I have known you. I was like, oh, it's been like 5 years.
Yeah.
And I first started taking your Pilates classes, which were absolutely amazing. And you even came to my previous house and did Pilates there, RIP, old reformer.
Yep. Oh.
And you've even come now to my new house with the new reformer. And then also I've done your breath work and mindfulness classes, which I had never done before.
Yeah.
And they were absolutely amazing and phenomenal. You really know how to do it all. And now I still go to your weekly classes for Pilates, and they're great. So I'm so happy that you agreed to come on because it's been wonderful to have you kind of through this whole transition from, I was postpartum with Penny, working out with you, and then obviously working out while I was still married, and then going through a divorce, and now post-divorce, and just having you kind of be there, not only working out with you, but also being there as a friend. And I can attest, like, working out, I think, was the best thing for me during this transition from, especially like through the whole process. I think like from the mental health standpoint, it was really, really important. So today I think we're going to sort of talk about, importance of self-care, importance of, your mental health, and how incorporating working out and exercises and breath work can really help with that. So how do you sort of define self-care?
I feel like it's such a broad thing.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times I see self-care out there like you're going to treat yourself. I feel like a lot of people talk about it like you're going to treat yourself, or you're going to take the bubble bath, or you're going to set the boundary. But I think self-care, it's almost like how you go through life. And truly our relationship with ourselves is the longest relationship we'll ever have, right?
Yes,
From birth all
absolutely.
the way until death. And so I truly love the idea of self-care is how you care for yourself in every moment of your life. In
I love
every
that.
moment, the hard times, the beautiful times, but the hard times, and what that looks like. It's not always the bubble bath. It's not always the said workout class or what have you. Sometimes it's having those hard conversations. Sometimes it's, there's such a wide lens,
Yes,
And so
absolutely.
it's hard for me to pinpoint exactly what that looks like, but to me it looks like more of just my relationship with myself as I'm moving through this life and taking care of myself, parenting myself,
Yeah.
So
I love that. I love the idea of I'm a parent of 3 kids and now a dog.
Daisy.
But I like the idea of also, I've never heard about that. Like, you also need to parent yourself and care for yourself. And I think, you can't care for others and if you're not taking care of yourself. And I think that's such an important lesson. And I think a lot of people, we forget about that. We forget about the
Absolutely.
importance of taking care of ourselves, because if we don't take care of ourselves, how are we supposed to, take care of other people?
And how do you show up in the world, right? When you're coming depleted, or you're coming from that place of lack, and taking care of yourself. I love the parenting thing, even though I'm not a parent.
Yeah. Yet.
But yet.
No pressure, Matt.
But the idea of like from the lens of when you're looking at a child, like you tell them to go to bed early, or you're not going to have that, you have had too much sugar, or whatever you're telling your child. It's from the lens of, I think, like higher self in a way, right? Like the child probably doesn't have the understanding now, but it's like you'll understand at some point. And so I love to look at that, like my higher self or the parent within. Like I might not have the answers nor the understanding, but like, okay, what needs to be done right now in this moment? And so, yeah, I love that idea, but definitely not a parent yet.
Yes,
but,
well, but
a auntie.
Exactly. So, now kind of getting into mental health, which I think is such an important piece, especially for women. And I know, obviously during COVID, there was a lot of people suffered with mental health issues. Obviously, gyms were closed for a lot of it, and people were kind of trying to figure out, their own way. How would you say, like, I know we talked a little bit about self-care, but are there different practices that women can sort of can do to really work where it really strengthens their mental health and make sure that they're really taking care of themselves?
Yeah. I'm actually truly obsessed with this idea because I am a woman myself.
Yes.
And I think it looks different from men to women for sure. And because we have our cycles, I feel like that also is a huge piece. But the thing about, COVID showed it to us, is that as women, we're very social. And I think being isolated, it's wild what it does to your mental health, not having that support of your community or your gym or wherever. So I think that piece of staying social, but I will add in there with being social, because of course, women, we are social, but a lot of times when we are in those social environments where it can feel like the opposite, because maybe you're comparing yourself the whole time or trying to keep up with said person or said thing. And so the piece that I see is intentionally coming together as women and being able to share authentically what you're going through and being honest, raw, and real. Because I think that the mental health part, that where you need community.
Absolutely.
And you need to be able to share your stories, and also just like learning from other women that you're not alone and you're not said crazy, because specifically with us and our cycles, like our hormones can be all over the place. And I've heard so many women time and time again say that they think they're crazy, And I'm like, well, it's because we're not having those honest conversations with women older or even younger or whatever, and being honest with what we're going through. And I think that plays a huge part.
Absolutely.
And I'll speak for myself, like we can definitely isolate and then doom scroll.
Yes.
And like compare and think that, and think that our life needs to look a different way, or judge ourselves and judge what we're going through. And for me, at least it's like, oh, nobody feels like this, And so I truly believe that part of like coming into like a conscious or like intentional gathering of women, or even a one-on-one, and just dropping the guards and like, this is what I'm going through. And I think we heal a lot through sharing our story, but also we heal a lot through hearing somebody else's story.
Absolutely.
And so that like storytelling piece, that gathering, where there's an intention rather than like, I'm going to be judged, so I have to show up a certain way, and I have to have the newest and the best, and then I have to be looking,
Yes.
and that can actually like deplete you more. So I'm saying social, but like in a new way where you're authentic and showing up and being raw and real and sharing your story and what you're going through.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So, when you're going through big transitions in your life, like whether it's for me, it was a divorce, or it's a career change, or, maybe even a relationship shift, or motherhood. What are sort of ideas that are good in terms of, we know we've talked about self-care, but like sort of that idea of reconnecting with movement and get your body moving, because I think that is so important when you're going through those major life transitions.
The part Well, I'll speak for myself. The
Yes.
part of movement that sold me as far as when I was just like heart exploding, like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
Was the first time I ever took a yoga class. Was never teaching, never even thought that I would ever be.
A yogi.
I couldn't have even fathomed who I
Mm-hmm.
am today. So this was, I've almost been teaching for about 10 years. So this was about 10 years ago. And I remember going to a yoga class. And the amount of connection I had at the end of connecting to my body, connecting to my soul, if that's what you believe, connecting
Mm-hmm.
to God or source or universe, like
Mm-hmm.
whatever, however you want to label that, but like
Absolutely.
this deep, like somatic experience I had in my body, like I've never experienced before.
Mm.
Just like immense gratitude, just so embodied and grounded and
Mm-hmm.
connected. So that was kind of like that light bulb in my head of like, holy shit, everybody needs this. Like
Yes.
where has this been? And I was at that point going through some really, really tough transitions, just like you said. I was
Mm-hmm.
transitioning from being so consumed with my family and my work life and kind of just left all of that and consumed with I mean, I hope you'll have my mother here soon to share the story,
Yes.
but
Yes.
consumed with the upbringing and the roots
Mm-hmm.
that I grew up in, the religion, and just there was so much that I felt like finally I just felt like F all of that, like
Yes.
I'm gonna go and find myself. But I didn't say that,
Absolutely.
but it felt like that's not working. I was so lost, so disconnected, just like a shell of a person.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me I'm like, okay, none of that. I'm going to pay this new path, and this yoga studio was calling my name, and from where I grew up, like, you don't do yoga. Like that, you don't do that. And so I went to this class, and at the end I was just like in tears and so grateful, and had
Oh,
never had
amazing.
this like I said, somatic like feeling
Mm-hmm.
connection.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, like once I got a glimpse of that, I felt like nobody could take that away from me. Like, and
Right.
then it's almost like it put me on the path of like wanting to know more, exploring. Like at that point, it was movement, and I say this all the time, but movement is so healing. It truly
Mm-hmm.
is. We are,
Mm-hmm.
as humans here on the earth, we are movers.
Right.
We truly are.
Absolutely.
And there was so much healing in the yoga practice, which of course evolved to like movement in general.
Mm-hmm.
And so I couldn't have, if somebody would have told me back then, like, yeah, Jen, you need to go and move your body, I would have been like, what are you talking about? But there is something so beautiful to movement, and it doesn't necessarily need to be a set workout, though it could be that. It doesn't need to be yoga. It doesn't need to be like, it doesn't need to look like anything, but to get you into your body. And what better
Mm-hmm.
way than to move the body and to actually feel the body when it's
Mm-hmm.
moving? And so that was just it was just such a pivotal moment in my life to put me onto the path of where I am now, and to truly like transition. It was such a big shift in my life. And so if you're going through any transition, I say, if you
Yeah.
feel like you're disconnected from yourself, disconnected from your purpose, or just like you're transitioning into maybe something that feels scary or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, that I would encourage you to get in touch with your body,
Mm-hmm.
to get into your body, to move your body, to almost like quiet the mind and just get into your body,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that looks like. If it is movement, great, but it could be walking. I mean, that's movement too,
Yeah.
but I mean like
Yeah.
said workout.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So to me, that movement has been a huge, just life-changing, saving grace for me in any transition that I've gone through in life, which is wild to think. But I think like with movement, you have so much there. Like you've
Mm-hmm.
got the breath, you've got intention, you've got your body, you're connected with yourself, you know?
Absolutely.
And I feel like when you're transitioning, what's scary is like you don't know what that's going to look like. You don't know what
Mm-hmm.
this, you know, and so to remind yourself to come back to connecting with your body, connecting with your breath, connecting to said higher
Yes.
source, or and
Absolutely.
so whatever that looks like. I wish I had a like step 1, 2, 3. I
Yes.
don't, but whatever that looks like for each person, I think it's going to be a little different. So,
Absolutely. Uh, so I mean, we know we talked about a little bit about exercise, but I mean, what is sort of like, say you're working with someone,
okay.
they're going through a big life transition, they haven't really been working out at all.
Mm.
what is sort of your realistic expectations that you would set for someone who's, kind of has a lot on their plate, but wants to sort of get back into movement, get back into working out? Kind of what would you say like because I know sometimes people will be like, go 0 to 100 and then get totally burned out after like 3 weeks. They're like, why am I working out 2 hours a day and now I'm hurt? And but what's sort of that like happy medium when you're creating sort of fitness goals for someone?
I mean, you said it perfect. Don't go from 0 to 100 because you're going to hate it. You're going to hurt yourself. Like I think you could do more damage.
Yes.
I would seriously tell somebody to start with like 5 minutes a day.
Okay.
Like to start very small. And also I would highly encourage you to find something that's enjoyable to you. I would never say like, if you hate running, I'm never going to come in and say, well, sorry, you need to run. I would never do that.
Right.
It's connecting like something that you enjoy to it, because if you enjoy it, it's going to stick. And it's going to be something that you're going to want to come back. Like your mind is telling you, oh yeah, we like doing that. But if you hate doing it, you're dreading it, I think it's doing worse.
Right. 1000%.
So starting with some, starting small.
Yeah.
Start with 5 minutes. I also do like little tricks for myself in a way of like, okay, I'm going to put my workout clothes on. I'm going to go and I'm going to put the thing out, lay it all out. And if I only got 5 minutes, then great. Then I'm going to leave after 5 and that's it. But most of the time, like, of course I enjoy whatever I'm doing. So those 5 minutes turns into an hour, and I just set like those little things. Okay, we're just going to put the workout clothes on, to make it just a little easier, that like threshold, you know? But absolutely find something that you love. If you love to dance, do that. If you love yoga, if you love HIIT, like whatever it is that you love, to do something like that you love. Because I think that imprint is great, and it's long term, because you're doing something you hate, like that's going to last once, twice, and then
Absolutely.
And I think that builds also, like, rather kind of like making it a part of your lifestyle. Like it takes time. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, like this was so hard in the beginning, but now here you are years later, and it's a part of your life. It's a part of what you do.
Absolutely.
But in the beginning it feels like, oh my gosh, I don't have an hour in my day, or like,
Yeah.
But if you start small, I think that can make it very sustainable.
And then I think, like, to your point, if you find something you enjoy, then you look forward to it. I mean, I have found, obviously I love your HIIT classes. I love your Pilates classes. I love your breathwork classes. And it's when you find something you enjoy, then it doesn't feel like a workout. It feels just like a routine and something that really benefits your life. And, for me, I think what was so helpful was I worked out throughout all my pregnancies. And then I just feel like which not everyone can do, but as obviously the doctor said, I was fine to do it. And then postpartum still worked out.
Yeah.
And then even now, I just feel like every transition I've been through in life, I've sort of kept fitness something that's important. And it's not even about like, because I want to look ripped to be, it's because I really...
But you do look ripped. I'm just
joking. Oh my gosh, this is why I'm not black. But it really is. It's that mental health piece for me that I really do think it truly changes how my brain functions and thinks, and even how I sleep. And
absolutely. There's so many benefits. There's so many. I mean, you just said a couple, but there's so many other than just literally looking a certain way.
Yeah, right. Well, right.
In fact, I get so like annoyed sometimes when like that's the case. It's like there's so much power in working out. Like it's sad that most of the time people just want to have a bigger butt or a snatched weight.
I wouldn't mind a bigger butt.
But one thing I do want to say, as I was driving over here, Kaley, I was like, I've seen you through so much, and your like drive to constantly take care of yourself. Aww. I'm just like, I'm inspired by that.
Oh, well,
and you're a mama. I'm like, I feel like I always get nervous of what life's going to look like, in the future for me. Because right now it's like, it's just me and Matt. So it's chill. It's Steven sometimes. Yeah. But on the way over, I'm like, wow, I've seen her through so so many changes the last five years that it's been just so inspiring that you're constantly taking care of yourself, constantly working out. And I think that that's just, you're encouraging me because.
Well, I got to make up for the wine I drink at night.
100%.
Just kidding.
But just as you're saying though, I know it's for your
just
mind.
Red wine. Heart health.
Sure. Yeah.
Cardiovascular.
It's the joy.
yeah, exactly. No, but and it's definitely something that I have found in my life that helps me feel like I'm not going crazy. And I do notice like days when I'm a little bit off. It's a day where I like haven't worked out or haven't. Obviously, we live in Minnesota, so it's not the easiest to get out. But even like on those, well, now that I have a dog that I have to walk.
Good luck with that.
So now I was out like a couple times a day and it was freezing, but I do remember being like, okay, you get that little bit of burst of energy. So I do think that for me, it's been so important to make sure that exercise is part of my daily life. To your point, however that looks. And what you're so good at, going back to the mindfulness breath work that you do, I'm novice. I mean, I know really nothing about it, except I went to one of your classes. I'm pretty sure that was like the best nap that I've ever had.
Oh, I did the sound bath.
the sound bath. I was awake, but it was like wild. So for me, as someone who knows nothing about mindfulness, but I do think it's extremely important. I've been reading about it. They're saying how it slows down the nervous system, how beneficial it is to the brain.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about like someone like me who's never done it? Yeah. How to sort of get into it, or sort of the introduction to it?
Yeah. Well, I think there's so many breathwork styles out there. I do the style that you came in and did with me. It's called somatic breathwork, and I paired the breathwork with a sound bath because it's just like a match made in heaven.
Oh, yeah. I can, yes.
So with the breathwork, it's truly a nervous system reset. The deal is that we're living these fast-paced lives. We're living with, I mean, since the day we were born all the way until this very moment, like holding on and repressing or suppressing said emotions, said things. And it's the example, like if you go to sit down to meditate and you try to close your eyes, if your nervous system thinks a tiger is chasing you, like there's no way that, like, the nervous system is trying to protect you. At the end of the day, it's trying to protect you. And so a lot of us are living our life in that fight or flight, that sympathetic state where our nervous system is like, it's not safe. There's tigers, there's, all the stress, all this stuff, but also like undigested things that we went through. Like I'm saying, from birth to the moment you're in right now. And like living, I'll just say living in a life that we are, the style that we are in, we don't have a lot of times the space to fully feel an emotion or to fully feel something. And even when we're younger too, like that same thing, like it's not safe here, I'm not going to feel that, I'm going to stuff it, and we put it into our physical body, and we just kind of, it's survival. Right. And so with this style of breath work, it's designed to get you into that sympathetic state to allow for you to release and almost like digest anything that the body's holding on to. Because if you ever try to go into a meditation and sit there and your mind is just like, it doesn't want to let you stay and sit and just soften. Because again, it's thinking, there's tigers chasing us. We can't sit here, Yeah. And so, and also to the point of like, I mean, that's just if you try to sit in meditation, but imagine if you're trying to digest your food. And your nervous system is like, oh, digest food? We don't need to do that. We need to be able to run from these said tigers, right? And so a lot of times your health can just go down if you're living in that sympathetic state. And I'm not saying that we're trying to, so with the nervous system, you've got your sympathetic, which is like fight or flight or freeze, and there's a new one called fawn. And then, I don't know how new it is, but then there's the other part, fawn. Like not fun. Not fun. Not fun. Fawn. But basically you're basically going to appease whatever the person needs from you. That's what it means. Like whatever, like if
We're all fawners.
if you're in a situation,
I don't know if that's a word.
I don't either, but like you'll basically chameleon.
Oh,
Because it has to do with survival.
Oh, interesting.
So this is not what you would want to do in a way, but it's like your body is like, oh, I need to be this.
Sure. Wow.
To survive.
Fascinating.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's another one. But then you have that, then you have the parasympathetic. Well, this is the rest and digest. This is the part where when I play the sound bowls, it takes your brain into theta, which is where you're like so deeply relaxed, you know, and you're not asleep, but you're in the brain waves of theta, which is like right before sleep, you know? And so with that, that's where your body's like, okay, it's safe.
Yeah.
I can. And so all the blood it rushes to like the vital organs and your body's like, we can heal, we can digest our food. We can do all these things now. There's no said tigers, right? And so with this style of breath work, it's working with the nervous system. And it's not saying one is bad or good. It's not that. It's not also striving to just be in the parasympathetic rest and digest, because life doesn't happen like that. Like staying in either of those is not good, good. Life is homeostasis, meaning you're in balance. You need to know how to turn it on if there is a said tiger, but also how to turn it off. And we don't know that. Also turn on the like rest and digest, but also how do you turn that off? Because you can't live your life there.
That would be great. I'd love just to rest and digest all the time.
But you know, so it's not necessarily either of those. It's learning how to flex the nervous system, you know? And so those are the two pieces. And with the sound bath, of course, that just helps. It sends you right into that theta. You're just like, was that a nap? Was I asleep?
Yes.
But that's truly where your body, like you heal from the inside out, which is so incredible. And so essentially this modality is to bring you into homeostasis, which is, you want to live there, actually. You want to live in that place of balance, harmony. And then when you need to turn something on, you can. And when you need to turn it off, you can. You know what I mean? And so... and
I think when you're going through big life transitions, at least for me, I felt like I was in fight or flight mode for like 2 years. I don't feel like I did a great job of just being like, you know, trying to find that inner peace. And so I think for people... this is so important to make sure that they're taking that. And I wish I wish I had known more about this to even take that time to just be like, okay, I'm taking 5 minutes just to sort of have that time to myself.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure ideally, you can do a full time, but I mean, what's sort of the minimum amount of time that someone could do sort of this daily breath work?
Yeah. Well, mindfulness is literally one conscious breath. One conscious breath is mindfulness. You're mindful of this breath you're breathing in right now, you know? And so it could look just like that, like a conscious, intentional breath. That's going to ground you into this moment, you know? And so that is a practice that I love. Like you could do it at all day long. Like, just taking a moment for just one breath. But the somatic breath work, I have like a daily practice. It looks like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If I have more time, more. But I would say you've got to find what works for you, because with the somatic, it's a full hour and a half. Like we're going in and we're going for it. But I would suggest to like be connected to yourself and your breath like daily.
Right.
Take doses of that and think about, even when you're going through stuff in life, if you're truly trying to stay in homeostasis, not necessarily stay there, but live from that place. When you need to turn something on, you can turn it on. If you need to, like, let's just say fight, flight, freeze, but also to have the awareness in that moment. If you're not having undigested emotions, you know what I mean? You can truly kind of see this moment for it, rather than like that was a trigger of you for something that you've been holding on to since you were said child or last week or what have you, you know? And so I love breath work. I love breath. I know in yoga is how I started with pranayama, but the somatic I love. I'm just now learning so much, but like, wow, our nervous system is controlled by our breath, and we're living from that like fight or flight. So
So are there apps that you would recommend or videos or anything where people who could, are there apps that you would recommend? I mean, we can also link them too in this podcast where, that would be good for, or even, something that they could find online where it's just something easy to listen to or easy to see.
Yeah. I think that breathwork is becoming so popular right now. There's so many resources out there. There's a lot of free stuff on YouTube. Even on Spotify, you can search up some breath work.
Okay.
On Spotify, I've seen, where else? I don't use a specific app. I have an Insight timer, but I don't know if I would suggest that to somebody because it's literally just a timer. Like a special timer. I don't think that that's anything fancy.
But maybe it could be good in the sense of like, okay, take 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It could even be simple using the timer on your phone.
Yeah, seriously.
Where it's take 3 minutes, shut the world out.
Seriously.
And just only focus on your breathing.
Seriously, yeah. The one that I used for many years is called Open. But it has, not only it has guided breath work on there, I think you could also get like a free month.
Okay.
There's like a
Is
trial.
it just OPEN?
Yeah. OPEN. And
we'll make sure to link that.
Yeah. They have long meditations you can kind of pick in there. They've got meditation, breath work. They also have some fitness classes on there, some Pilates, some yoga. So I really like that. I found, because in there, of course, you have teachers, and then I look for their stuff on YouTube. Or I look for their stuff wherever I can. If you find some like really good meditation teachers or yoga teachers or breathwork like facilitators in there. So I've found a lot of what I follow from that app.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, okay, well, that's good to know. Open. Mm-hmm. Okay, I've never heard of it. See?
Mm-hmm. Learning new things.
Learning new things. Well, this has been absolutely amazing. I'm not kidding, when you were talking, just your voice. It's so relaxing. I was sitting here, I was like, I can't go take a nap because I have 3 children, but I was like, gosh, you really, your aura, everything about you is just like so peaceful, so calming. And I think it's such a good reminder to make sure we are taking that time for self-care, taking that time to get into that place, of mindfulness. And now, even as we're talking about this, I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. I can take 5 minutes instead of scrolling on my Instagram to set a timer to just think about my breathing, even, go onto that Open app or go online. Or even if it's just simple as me just breathing in and out and focusing on my breathing and not thinking about anything else. Mm-hmm. And then, your point about movement, I think is wonderful, is just however you can get movement is so important for your body and for yourself. Yeah. And then I love that parent yourself.
Absolutely.
I love that. I feel like I learned so much during this. So I so appreciate you for coming on. And if people wanted to find you or set up lessons with you, breathwork lessons, or do a private class, or even find you, is the best way just through your Instagram? We'll make sure to link it on your Instagram.
Yeah, I would say my Instagram. I do. I host the breathwork sessions. I do private stuff. I also do event stuff. So yeah. Instagram, I guess, is the best place.
And are you going to be posting your events and different things you do onto your Instagram?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay,
for
wonderful.
Sure. For sure.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming on. You're wonderful. Hope everyone now goes home and does some mindfulness.
Some breath work.
We'll all just be so much happier people.
Yes.
So,
yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jen.
Thank you, Kaley.